Wow.
This is about to
Listen, if Jesus ate chicken, that's the chicken
That's
Jesus
the chicken
would eat,
chicken
right?
would eat? Okay.
So here's the thing.
I said that's the Jesus chicken, Woody.
Yeah, I mean, chickens would eat Jesus, I guess.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So here's the life hack. You get the chicken nuggets, but you get them unbreaded.
You can ask for them unbreaded?
They have both. They're grilled or breaded, right?
Okay.
And they're just a little more delicious. Welcome to another episode of 24 Frames Per Second. I'm Phil Balabanos.
I'm Peter James.
My boy, Peter James. And today is a very, very special episode. I got a little excited by the Chick-fil-A conversation, so I wasn't prepared for what I'm about to do, but I'm going to try it now because it's a
Scary.
It's a Halloween episode. Halloween just around
right around the corner.
A couple of hours because we shoot this live. So we're gonna do what Peter has been waiting his entire life to do, and that is
Talk about a scary movie and ask anybody watching, what's your favorite scary movie?
But why did you say it like that?
Because that's the voice. That's the Ghostface voice.
gun to your head.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be the best movie. The scariest film you've ever witnessed and experienced. The movie that fucked you.
Oh,
It ruined your sleep for weeks.
that's tough. That's
Go
tough.
for it. You have 10 seconds.
I was a huge fan of the original Conjuring.
Okay.
I had a horrible night after watching the first Insidious, and then Hereditary got me.
Hereditary.
Hereditary got me. Ari Aster
The
got me.
trailer for Hereditary got me. Scariest movie is Hereditary? Is that what you're going to think? You have to pick one. You can't do this fake,
yeah. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's no spoilers. There's a lot of stuff in Hereditary, but there's one shot. It's like just this old guy standing in a closet with a weird smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that got me. Like, there are times where I'll look into I'll be at a hotel or something like that for work, and I'll look into the closet, which is like slightly ajar, and go like, it's not there. But then my mind will put it there. Like, I'll just be like, oh shit, you remember that scene in Hereditary? And then I fuck myself over.
What was that there was a Stephen King TV adaptation movie in the mid-90s, Rose Hill, the house on Rose Hill.
No, it's not the house on Rose Hill. It's,
I'm thinking I'm mixing up the house.
There's Rose in it. You think
It's Rose House.
Yeah, I think
the Rose House
yeah,
or something, right?
that.
There was this scene in it where I don't know, like a specter or something. I forget what it was exactly. Appears like you're looking at an empty scene, and the camera's just slowly pushing forward, and it's lasting longer than it should. You're like, what's going on? Are they going to jump scare me? And then the push stops, and all of a sudden, it's not like a glitch effect. It's not like a flash. Suddenly, from like, it was all practical.
Right.
From like this dark void in the center, this thing it doesn't even fly out. It just steps out, and you're like, ah.
Oh my God.
And for years, I remember my sister used to make fun of me. When we were kids, she used to go sit in the hall at night when I'd be watching TV, and she would just sit in the dark spot in the hallway. So when I'd get up, I'd come out, I'd be like, what the fuck? And that fucked me up. But the scariest movie the movie that scared me, like, to the point where I was like, I think it might be the film that traumatized me, and I stopped watching horror films, and it's Prince of Darkness.
Oh, John Carpenter. Rose Red. That's what you're talking about. Rose Red. Yeah.
You see what he did just now? He pretended like he had been pondering on the river, but he Googled it.
Yeah,
I saw him Google it.
Texted my wife, but sure.
Yeah, because I don't have eyes. You piece of shit. Yeah, so Prince of Darkness, that mirror, because I don't know, it's old enough I can talk about it. It's 1987. What year is that movie?
It's 80s, yeah.
Late 80s, 89. They're in a church in New York, I believe. Like an old...
Oh, it's been a while. I'll take your word for it.
It's like this 150, 200-year-old church that's built on another older structure, which is a hellhole. You know, it's a hellmouth, whatever.
Yeah.
And weird things start happening around, I think it's the Bronx, right? And slowly they find out that, like, it's Armageddon or something. I forget exactly the premise, but, like, they're bringing forth the Prince of Darkness through the birth of a child. Very typical. Like,
yeah.
But, like, the scenes where, like, the mirror acts as this, typical, very tropey, but it wasn't tropey then. No. The mirror acts as, like, a gateway between worlds. And there's these scenes where she gets pulled through and she sees the other side, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, especially
never sleeping again.
Kid, yeah.
Never sleeping. I wasn't even that young. I had seen it much later. I must have been 12, 11 years old.
There are, like, that's the thing is the scariest movie is a tough call, but there have been scary movies.
I didn't see the scariest. I said the movie that scared the pants off
yeah,
you.
you're right. Okay. But it, again, different stages of my life. You know, I watched The Exorcist way too young.
I mean, yeah.
That one
The Exorcist holds to this day.
Yeah.
If you watch it at night,
I watched it with a buddy of mine, T, and I used to just say, like, just to fuck him up sometimes, he would, like, leave my house. We lived, like, the same block, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he would just bike home, and it would be nighttime. We would just have watched another horror film. So, you know, you're trying to be tough, but you're kids. And you get on his bike, and I would just go, "Why you do this to me?" And he would cuss me out.
The Exorcist was the first time in my life that I experienced horror with a Greek, like, because there's Greek in the movie, right? Because you have the priest, and it scarred me. I was like, oh my God. It fucked me up really bad.
I have not seen the new one that just came out.
Neither have I.
What's really cool is...
You're so scared. Too scared.
No, but it's not even that. Okay, so...
I just remembered another movie that fucking traumatized me.
Hold on, we're going to get to it.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned John Carpenter. So, arguably one of the greatest slashers. Obviously, Halloween, 1978. Spawned a bunch of, let's call them, interesting sequels / some abysmal ones.
Yeah, okay.
And then
I've seen most of them, actually.
And then you remember a couple of years ago, David Gordon Green, who is a very interesting filmmaker because he's made these art house, I don't really want to call them art house films, but very, like, interesting adult grown-up movies, thrillers, George Washington, what's the other one he did with he's made Stronger with Jake Gyllenhaal, these, like, kind of serious dramas as well. And then he's also made Pineapple Express.
That's right. I was like, wait, I know this name. I know this.
And Your Highness.
Your Highness is a fucking great movie. You're fucking high.
So he's got a friendship with Danny McBride.
Okay. That's right.
This Is the End. And from Eastbound and Down, which he's also a part of.
Where he has the neck brace the whole movie?
No, that's Pineapple Express.
That's Pineapple Express.
It's at the end of the movie, yeah. So they made Eastbound and Down together. And I remember it's like 2017, and I'm catching up on, like, movie news, and the announcement gets made that with John Carpenter's blessing, David Gordon Green is going to make a new Halloween trilogy that will essentially erase all the movies except for the first one. And Danny McBride was one of the writers. And I remember going, like, what? Like, is this actually going to fucking happen? And then there was, like, this joke rumor that McBride's going to play the Shape, right? So I hope this happens. This is going to be the greatest thing ever. So that trilogy, first film, really enjoyed it. Second film, awesome. It's like a direct sequel. And then the third film does something that I'm not going to spoil, but it really divided a lot of people. I would love for some people to comment on if they saw Halloween. So it's Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. Mm-hmm. So I'm very curious if any of our viewers saw Halloween Ends, how they feel about how that film was handled, without getting into spoilers. If I get enough comments, we'll talk about it maybe on one of the upcoming episodes.
Somebody read the marketing handbook.
What's really cool is, so after that, I was like, okay, well, what's next for David Gordon Green? He's going to go back to making, his serious films, going to be in the running for an Oscar. No, he went back to horror.
He
decided to do the same thing with The Exorcist, wherein he's doing this. He did this new film, The Exorcist, where they brought back Ellen Burstyn, the mom from the original.
I'm not aware of that. I mean, I'm aware of the film being made, but
so he's got this whole idea now. I don't know if the film's any good. I'm gonna see it at some point, and because I love
Exorcist is one of those movies that I never felt that they needed to revisit it. It's such a phenomenon. I don't know, cultural phenomenon. Why can't I pronounce the word phenomenon?
I have no idea.
Say it once.
Phenomenon.
You said it wrong too. I think I just don't remember what the word sounds like.
You're thinking of phenomena, and that's what you're trying to say, and then adding an N sound.
Phenomenon. Anyways, it's such a cultural phenomenon. There we go.
It's a phenomenal film.
No. Yes, it is. It is fine. but leave it alone. You know what I mean? Exorcisms can be done in millions of different.
Yeah, I don't know.
ways.
I don't know if
So just do it that way.
I don't know if someone assuming I don't know David Gordon Green, but I don't think someone like him would just simply do that for the sake of like.
Oh no, I'm not
cash
saying
cow.
no. That's not what I'm accusing him of at all. I'm just saying maybe just make your own exorcism film. Like it doesn't need to be in that universe. That universe.
That's
it
not a
holds
good-
such a special place in everyone's heart.
It's had a good. I mean, how many good exorcism movies or like where an exorcism is involved? I mean, it was The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah,
Sounds
there's
good. I like
what
that.
did I watch recently?
The Pope's Exorcist. Is that the one you're thinking?
No,
of?
no.
Russell
I think
Crowe.
it may have been a series. I'm trying to think now, because I can picture the exorcism scene, but I can't remember anything else about it. Oh no, you know what I'm thinking?
Here we go again.
Here's a great little. No. It's not a film, but it was a standalone episode. But you're gonna laugh what it was from. But it was so well done. Like whoever made this is a fucking fan of exorcism films. It is an episode of season 2 of the new Quantum Leap. Believe it or not. And when it started, I'm like, this is way too scary. What's happening? Like,
Hold on.
this is not Quantum
Now I'm
Leap.
actually gonna Google.
There's an episode of Quantum Leap where he jumps into the body of a priest performing an exorcism in the 70s.
What?
Yeah.
And this is the new Quantum.
The new
Leap.
Quantum Leap, which, by the way, not a Halloween thing, but lots of fun. Like, not a great show, but definitely worth watching. It's fun,
And this,
especially if you love the original Quantum Leap. For all its unwoke misgivings.
this would have been in the first season because the second season hasn't aired.
First season, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, the second season hasn't aired. Oh, it was released in 2 parts. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. They split the season. But yeah,
In
it's
the
a fun
second half.
It's in the second half, maybe 3rd or 4th episode after the break. I don't remember what it was called, but it was great. Did you find it yet?
No, I'm getting there.
Wait, have you watched the new Quantum?
No, I haven't.
It's so much fun.
I'm trying to see what's going on here.
It's right up my alley. Like silly, campy TV, you know?
Ben leaps into a priest. He quantum leaps into
Mm-hmm.
a priest who has been called to assist a family in crisis on Halloween night. As he delves into the mysterious and inexplicable event, he's forced to muster all his resources as a scientist before time runs out. That would be the great makings of a sci-fi film.
It was a great episode. And honestly, the show is not supernatural in any way. It's a science,
Sure.
It's a science fiction show. It doesn't have supernatural elements. But the way they handled themselves, I was like, I shit my pants a little.
My mind just went off. I'm gonna loop back.
No, hold on. Let's
Okay,
finish my
okay,
thought.
all right, go
Because I also have a loop back.
Okay, let's go.
Um,
Exorcism movies.
exorcism movies.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, Exorcism of Emily Rose. I would argue that Judgment Day is a great exorcist movie.
Judgment Day.
I've mistitled the film.
Yes, you've always.
What is it called?
I don't know what you
Yes,
doing.
you do. Okay, speak Phil for a second backwards. I
Okay.
called it Judgment Day
Yeah.
because I mixed up the actor with another one of his films. And then the pinnacle...
You talking about End of Days?
End of Days, yes. I knew you'd figure it out. End of Days is a great fucking movie. It's not a horror film.
No, it's Schwarzenegger attempting. I mean, it kind of has horror elements, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was the 90s. That's all we were doing. Angels and Demons.
Everything about that film is hilarious. But there's 2 things that I'll always remember. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a character, and he's always had interesting character names, and they used to do this for a lot of action heroes all the time, John Blank or whatever.
Yeah.
In End of Days,
What is his name?
it's Jericho Kane.
Yes,
Swear to God.
Kane.
Right? And he has a scene where
Jericho Kane.
his I think it's his captain or his superior, her name's Marge, right? And I guess she either gets possessed at some point or I don't know what, and she shoots at him and he hides behind this wall and goes, and I quote, "Jesus Christ, Marge, what the fuck?" It's the funniest fucking thing ever.
You know what's
So
another
good.
great possession, but not by demons? Movie series. It was a series also afterwards. Legion.
Legion. Legion is underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah, I think it's
Being good,
underrated.
yeah.
People make fun of it because of that old lady scene that ended.
old lady scene is terrifying.
It is terrifying. I said your fucking baby's gonna burn. I get why people.
To someone, and he goes, "I would hire her in my restaurant."
Yeah, I get why people laugh at it.
Oh man, no, but Legion. The series was not great, but it was interesting to see what they did with
The series was called Dominion. just
Dominion,
for
yeah.
yeah. But I haven't watched it.
all right, it was
I mean,
all right.
it looked super low budget and like
It wasn't too low budget, but it wasn't Legion.
Yeah, fair
But
enough.
like Angels and Demons is always fun. Like as a film
Angels and
premise.
Demons, yeah. Okay, the play on that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, look, hey,
Word None is great.
The Prophecy had
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Christopher Walken, yeah, and Viggo
I've
Mortensen.
seen that in a long time.
Yeah,
There's so many good demonic like element films. Like there's been so many.
those
The
stop.
Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, those stop. Now, oh, you know what? I mentioned one before. I mean, there's technically a possession scene in The Conjuring. That
Oh yeah.
with Bathsheba.
That's right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Who else had interesting, not so scary, but interesting takes on possession? Constantine
Constantine.
had some really cool.
So you know they greenlit a sequel.
I do.
Now I'm hoping that the writers.
He's
strike
attached
can
to it
kill
as a
that.
producer, also, right?
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, he's been wanting to make that movie. That
Well, he
sequel
said it
for
once
a
in an
long
interview. I
time.
remember the only character I'd like to revisit is Constantine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much money it took for them to get Keanu to come back for the Matrix, whatever the fuck it was called.
I refuse to watch that.
Oh, dude,
I will not.
it is god awful. Like I thought the sequels were bad, but this was like,
Sequels weren't that bad.
oh, dude,
They weren't the first
Wait,
Matrix.
wait. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you saw them?
A long time ago.
Yeah. You watch them now.
Look,
watch them now with your experience, and you're gonna be like, why?
Look,
That's the only thing you're gonna ask is why.
watching The Matrix as a how old were we in there at the time it came out? Teenagers.
13, yeah.
Watching The Matrix, yeah, it was fucking cool to see the first Matrix. But like midway through the first film, I was like, this is kind of dumb.
No.
Like I just started losing interest in it. I never really got, like I watched all the Matrices, but like I was like, okay, so Neo's Jesus.
No,
What's happening?
No, don't do that.
It's
First
such a-
Matrix was look. First of all, but beside the fact that it revolutionized a lot of filmmaking techniques.
That's fine. I'll give it that.
Yeah, it was still a fun, cool movie, and one that, man, you look. Keanu Reeves.
He knows Kung Fu, bro.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves had a very interesting career.
He did. What did he make right before The Matrix? Speed.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Johnny Mnemonic. That's a
wasn't-
great fucking.
He wasn't in Speed 2. He
wasn't in
opted out. They replaced him.
Johnny Mnemonic is better than fucking The Matrix.
They replaced him with Jason Patrick.
That's right.
Fucking miss Jason Patrick.
But wait, hold on. We've gone off topic.
yeah.
Let's stay. Here's another film that scared the fucking tiny little dick off my prepubescent body. The People Under the Stairs.
Oh yeah, Wes Craven's The People Under the
Fuck
Stairs.
me.
Fucking love that movie.
Anything with like, when it's in the house and it's not like actually a ghost.
Yeah,
it's like a if it could happen, like I don't believe in aliens. Well, no, I kind of do. I don't believe in demons.
Sure.
Right? So like demons, it scares me, but I'm not too concerned.
Gotcha.
Right? Ghosts, I'm not sure. I'm on the fence, so I'm always like, but like
Real life
real life
like this?
scary shit scares me. So like The Hills Have Eyes.
So mutant cannibals scare you.
Mutant cannibals scare me. Barbarian.
Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk. It's not that scary.
Dude, okay, Bone Tomahawk
scary
is
movie, though.
but it's
gore
very
and horror.
unnerving. It's very unnerving.
Yeah, but I was there. Who's Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe.
It's Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yeah, sorry.
That's
that I was the movie.
No, Kurt Russell is
Yeah, he's perfect
infinitely
for
a
it.
better
Yeah.
choice than Russell Crowe.
Bone Tomahawk. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk is cowboys and Indians on drugs. Like it's just
on
like the
crank,
next level.
not drugs, on
crank. Yeah.
yeah.
No, Bone Tomahawk is a great.
So real stuff. Barbarian. Super. If anyone hasn't seen Barbarian, I cannot recommend this movie enough.
The only reason I was able to watch Barbarian, because it's like from what was happening, I was like, there's no way I can sit through this. I won't be okay. But you had spoiled so much of the film for me because you're like, you're never going to watch it.
You asked me to.
I was like, just do it. So because I was mentally prepared, I was able to watch it. And fuck, the spoilers doesn't matter because it's not the twist that gets you. It's the story itself. I was like, this is fucking great. And keep in mind, I don't watch a lot of horror anymore. But when I started making films, all I wanted to make
horror films
was horror. My first 2 films are horror. Bad, like shitty student horror, but like I tried.
Yeah.
And there's possessions and cursed objects. Like
Yeah.
fucking horror,
I
yeah.
never
fucking
did.
experience that
I really wanted to. My first film I ever wrote was a vampire movie, and I really wanted to, but that one wasn't really a horror film. But I always also too wanted to make horror films, but it was like, I don't know, it's like writing comedy, you know, like, I don't know.
I struggle with comedy.
Yeah, like I'm scared to write comedy. I don't know what's funny, and I'm scared to write horror because what if what scares me is like super boring to other people, or so on and so forth. You know,
I've never really worried about that.
I wrote
comedy. I worried
Yeah.
because I don't know. Like I think objectively, I'm pretty funny. I have good one-liners. I'll make people laugh, whatever. But I'm not sure. Son of a... See, I did it right there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I have the writing chops to structure that much funny throughout like a 2-hour period. Like, I just don't know. And I've also never really been too interested in it.
Okay.
Horror, though, I get. Because I'm fucking scared.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I get it. Like, I remember shooting a scene on my student film, and we had set... It's just like, guys, it's like, don't go looking for it if you want to laugh. Unless you really want to make fun of me, it's fine. So there's this scene... We're in like it's almost a dream sequence,
Right.
But it's not. It's like a lucid moment. And so she's all in makeup, the girl, and she's like the embodiment of this spirit, whatever. And she's like all cut up and shit. And the scene itself is not scary because I didn't know what I was doing. But the setup, like where we were, I was like, I'm spooked out. Can we turn on the house light? It's too spooky in here. And we did because we were in the back. We were behind a stage in the rafters, like the
Right. Yeah.
Were you there for that second? I know you were there for the film because you.
I was. Yeah, I was.
Were you there for that?
No, but you were
We had
telling
these
me
strobes
that's where it
going
was
off,
happening. Yeah,
and we
yeah.
had like this mist thing, and there was this weird sound effect that I had running like this. And I was like, guys, can we turn on the light? Like, I scared myself.
Yeah, you spoke.
So I know that I can do horror. Horror has such an interesting structure to the way it tells stories because so much of horror, like good horror, is like that's the kind of horror I'm into. Like, it's implied.
Right.
It
So
lets you fill in gaps.
Which brings me to a good segue. Okay, so you had in the
Yeah,
early
yeah.
days, in the early days, it was sci-fi horror,
Mm-hmm.
then kind of the thriller horror, then it went into
What early days are we talking about? Where were you at?
And listen, I mean, you had we're talking about 1922 Nosferatu.
Oh,
you had
there-
Gothic
okay.
horror, but look, you had different types of horror
German-
that went in there, German expression,
Yeah.
and all that. But then let's look at more recently. Okay, in the 80s, you had the advent of the creature feature and slashers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Creature features had always existed, but you
Yes.
started getting the schlock.
Slashers were new.
Slashers, arguably the first slasher is Psycho with, by Alfred Hitchcock. But I'm talking about the 80s is where it really kind of exploded with technically 1978 with Halloween, and then you had
Are you putting Alien on that list? It's technically
no,
horror.
it's sci-fi horror, right? That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
okay.
It's its own subgenre,
But the
and I'm going to get to
Yeah,
that.
okay,
I'm going to
okay.
get to that. So
Yeah.
you had slashers, you had what you talked about, your possession horror and all that stuff. You had your sci-fi horror, which you're going to talk aliens, and I'll see your aliens, and I'll raise you Event Horizon.
Event Horizon is one of my favorite fucking
Right?
movies of all time.
So-
it is an underappreciated. It's you know what it is? I think Event Horizon, people watched like Alien, for example. Event Horizon is after Alien.
Way
After like mid-90s.
90s, yeah.
So I think a lot of people saw the trailer or the
And
synopsis.
assumed it was going to be like a
And they're like,
knockoff.
No, they're just like space, fucking space. Let's do it. Scary space, alien
Yeah.
shit. And they were there for that, but what they got was like DMT.
Yeah.
Because that film, the organic horror, like, cause it's the textures of everything.
Listen, it's arguably the guy who made this is it's
What- who is
it's not Paul Thomas Anderson, it's Paul W.S. Anderson,
Yes.
known for films like Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat from the 90s. Jesus, what else?
I don't
the
know.
Three Musketeers. A lot of basically any movie that is not The Fifth Element that stars Mila Jovovich is because his wife
Yeah.
is Paul W.S. Anderson, and they're all okay, right?
Jojo?
I'm not gonna.
How do you pronounce her name?
I think it's Jovovich.
Jojovich?
Yeah.
I think the first one's probably a J. The second one's
it's
probably a Y.
Jojovich. I don't know.
Jojovich. Anyways.
So Lilo from
Oh.
Multipass. So that's Event Horizon. Events.
You know, there's a period in history where for a little bit of time, I had started to not be able to tell Mila Jovovich
Yeah.
and Kate Beckinsale apart. Because
sad.
the Resident Evil series and
Versus
the,
Underworld series?
Underworld series.
Okay, all right.
Because
fair
they
enough.
both jumped the shark so hard by their second sequel. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
But Kate Beckinsale.
So hold on. We'll get back to that. That was Paul W.S. Anderson's best film was Event Horizon. Now, to finish up is that we had all these other types of horror films, and now over the last, mean, that's not as far as a decade, but over the last few years, you've had this new advent of almost art house horror. Like we mentioned Hereditary, and a lot of them tend to fall under one production banner.
They're A24.
A24.
But they're not art house horror.
Yeah, I should have put air quotes. I get it. I know what you're saying.
I understand what you're trying
Elevated
to say.
horror? Is that fair? Is that better?
No, it's not elevated horror. It's horror harkening back to its roots, in my opinion. Because it feels like, pretend you don't know anything about films, right?
Okay.
And you've never seen a movie.
Gotcha.
I mean, whatever, hypothetical. And you watch like The Conjuring. What was the first one? It was Conjuring, the first in their series of. That's how they got started with the Conjuring series, right?
Who got started?
A24.
No, Conjuring is not A24.
It's not?
No. A24 is The Witch. It's
The one that's based on the Spanish movie first.
no. The Witch is with Anya Taylor-Joy. It takes place in a village.
That is in a village.
Yeah,
No, wait. The Witch is based on a Spanish film. It's a remake. I'm pretty sure. Unless I'm mixing up the titles.
you might be.
Anyways, Hereditary is what I was thinking of, not The Conjuring initially.
Sure,
So let's say you watch Hereditary and then you watch. I'll even throw The Conjuring in there because it's in that same vein, right? In the same spirit? No, you don't think so?
No, really, no.
Really?
See, here's
my point. I can't make it.
Yeah,
if you don't
because
agree.
I'll tell you, I don't agree because here's what some different. So if you take a movie like The Conjuring. The Conjuring's made by James Wan. James Wan got his start with his buddy Lee Wannell, and they made a short film which people really loved, and they got enough money to make it into a feature length, which ended up being James Wan's first feature length film, which is Saw, which spawned a bajillion.
It Saw's its own.
Well, that's it. It spawned a bajillion sequels. The 10th one came out a while back.
I
a while
dislike
ago.
the Saw.
But then what was that called? That ended up becoming its own subgenre that got a nickname called torture porn.
Yeah, it's basically that.
Like torture horror, you know? Even though I don't think that was the intention.
Wait, what's that movie? Okay, hold on. I just had a weird, maybe early 2000s. I'm not sure. Cube.
Vincenzo Natali.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Canadian.
That's
That's a Canadian.
That's torture.
You found that to be torture? Sure.
I mean, it was still early in history
It's a little
that
bit
they
sci-fi.
weren't willing to push.
Yeah, but it's a little bit sci-fi.
Or
I don't know.
They're in this cube.
Yeah, but
it's
they have
cube.
to figure, look, that's about different types of sacrifice. Saw is about like
Yeah, okay.
really over-the-top, gruesome.
But Saw can't exist without in a world where CubeNet was never made.
You might be right, but we'd
think
have to ask James Wan about that. Now, Wan's career is something
that?
with Cube. The Canadian actors. Nobody that
all Canadian.
Yeah, nobody
Is it
that.
Canadian?
Yeah, yes. Vincenzo Natali's Canadian. He also did that other movie, that Splice.
Splice.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
creature thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah, interesting
was
film.
interesting, yeah.
And then he had a recent one. I think it's called In the Tall Grass.
That's a great title.
Pretty sure that's Vincenzo Natali.
I mean, yeah, okay, so you have like Saw, Human Centipede.
So yeah,
Yeah,
they started getting into the gross out stuff, but I don't think James Wan intended that because
I don't think so
he
either.
followed that up with another horror film called Death Sentence, and the other one I think Dead Silence. Yeah,
Okay.
with the puppet thing.
Oh, yeah. He clearly had the thing for puppet-like things.
That one was great too, and then he kind of that's when he met. After that, he met Jason Blum. So then you have your own kind of, I call it, it's not an actual subgenre, but I think I call it a subgenre, a Blumhouse film. Now, Blumhouse is a production studio.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that's a real word. Why are you saying that?
Yeah, Blumhouse is a production studio that releases these ultra low budget, but pretty cool. I mean, they have more hits than misses in terms of the horror films, and they really give these up and coming filmmakers a chance. So one of the first collaborations between them was Insidious. Now, Insidious is absolutely terrifying. I don't care what anybody says.
It is. I've seen Insidious.
And it's one of those
To
films
my
where
detriment, I wish I hadn't.
I really liked every Insidious sequel. Now, I haven't seen the last one, which is the fourth one, and it's pretty cool because one of the lead actors from the entire Insidious series, Patrick Wilson, is now directing. He directed the last one.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Feature directorial debut, I think. So that's pretty cool that he did that. And then one...
I'm listening to talk about all this stuff, and I'm sitting here like confused by myself.
What do you mean?
Because like I don't understand myself. Because I've seen Insidious.
Right?
It's terrifying.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've also seen like, I don't know, first season of American Horror Story, which is terrifying.
Sure.
It is.
Okay.
It's scary.
I could argue the second one was...
The second season is...
Asylum.
I mean, I've seen Asylum. I've seen a bunch of them.
Yeah. Asylum is...
I stopped at some point, but yeah, I was watching them. Then I watched, like, I don't know, 22 years of Supernatural, which isn't scary, but sometimes it can get you.
Okay.
They have a few episodes here and there where
I'll take your
they're like, you know what, let's just amp it up and scare people. They're not expecting it 37
cool.
episodes in. And I love horror as a genre, but I don't watch it.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm trying to figure out now, like, why the fuck don't I watch it if I like it so much?
The common element that both of us, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
It's our wives. Like we love our wives, but they,
No, I don't watch horror.
oh really? Mine won't.
It's me. She'll be like, that looks scary. I'm like, I'm not watching that.
Oh, dude, mine. There's the horror is banned in my house. I got to do it solo.
She can't watch fucking horror?
No, she can't.
Your wife won't watch a horror film.
Yeah, no, it's awful.
Like, hates them.
No, it's like she just finds them scary. So here's the thing: slashers,
Irreconcilable difference.
She likes slashers. But we were talking to your point earlier. You were talking about
Halloween.
demonic possession and all that stuff.
But she's religious.
So she grew up, she's Italian Catholic.
Catholico.
So for her, that's the big no. Anything. But I'm gonna get to my point. Hold on. So
If you watch Warrior or none, that'll mess with her. And she'll enjoy it. It's not scary.
probably. That's coming back, by the way, in some form. They
What?
announced. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute.
Really? I
So,
really enjoyed that series.
James Wan kind of graduated in terms of.
Captain America giving her the old Balkan one too now. The lead actress, the Portuguese one.
I don't think
Remember
so.
her name? Yeah.
Just got married, unless he married her.
I think he married her.
Okay, we'll get into that. In a
Anyways,
minute.
yeah. I just throwing that out there.
I want to finish up on the James Wan that leads me to eventually what happened. So the Blumhouse, and then he graduated from Blumhouse, if you will, and made The Conjuring for a lot of money, and
Lots of money. Money.
compared to like $1 million, which is what he was making his other films.
Yeah.
Conjuring cost 20. That movie made enough money because of its release, not releasing it around Halloween, releasing in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then that allowed him to start making, he got, Universal really had a good time with that. So they basically gave him Fast and Furious. Now, unfortunately, it was the Fast and Furious where Paul Walker passed away. And now he's in the DC thing. But he started his own company, Atomic Monster, and they're kind of doing some horror films as well.
Okay.
Around after that, A24 started releasing art house films from like these really incredible directors like Robert Eggers with The Witch and Ari Aster with Hereditary, Midsommar, and most recently Beau is Afraid. And these are...
I haven't even heard of that last one.
Yeah, these are with Joaquin Phoenix. It's a 3-hour trip fest. I'll show you the trailer later.
Okay.
Now, all these new, call them elevated horror films, are very interesting because they divide audiences. Half of them are like, this is incredible just because they love how it was made. And the other half just looking for a quick, scary fix are like, this is a snooze fest. It's boring. So I just watched one of the latest acquisitions.
Looking into that other...
No worries.
Go on.
An acquisition from A24, and I've given them a shout out in a previous episode of our podcast. I watched
The Raka Raka?
Yeah, I watched the Raka Raka's film Talk to Me. So Danny and Michael Philippou, two
You talked about
Greek
this last...
Australians.
You brought this up into... I think...
No, I spoke to you that I saw it. We didn't talk about it on the podcast.
You did not talk about Talk to Me in the last
I
episode?
talked to it, yeah, but not. I hadn't seen it then.
No, since you saw it. You talked about it last episode that you saw it, no?
No,
I'm
watched
having
it.
a hard time. The streams are crossing for me. Like, I don't know what conversations we're
Yeah,
having.
we had
and which ones
a
we're having
personal conversation
Oh, okay, my bad.
after I saw it, but I
bad.
haven't spoken about
Okay,
it.
sorry.
It is.
It's becoming weird, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to Me is awesome. It's
Yeah.
such a cool concept. Kind of on the
so
their version of their play on like the Ouija
Flatliner?
board or Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
and Flatline.
By the way, you told me about it, and you're like, you got to at least watch the trailer. And I hadn't watched the trailer yet. I thought I had, and I realized I mixed it up with another film, which, hey,
Yeah,
that's what I do.
It's a Phil thing.
And then I watched it 2 nights ago. That has to be one of the scariest trailers I've seen in forever.
Yeah, you like
Because it starts off so just mundane, and you're all of a sudden you're like, there's fucking demons everywhere.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is it's not
It's in the house.
demons. It's
I don't know what it is.
well. So
It's
the
something.
premise of the film is
Spoil it.
well, not spoiling. It's the premise of the
Don't
film.
fucking spoil it.
Kids in Southern Australia are bored.
I like that they're in Southern Australia, by the way. Well, yeah, good for them.
So I saw a thing with the Rock. They lost a lot of money because of choices they made. Like casting Sophie Wilde as the lead, they lost $1 million out of their budget.
Because of the cost or because someone punished them for
Because
it?
it's not punishment. It's like, okay, cool. Well, we're not going to make that, so we're going to have to take out money elsewhere. We needed a big star, so
Okay.
they wanted to shoot in South Australia. They lost money for that too, instead of trying to make it where people wanted them to make it, which would be, I don't know, Southern California or whatever,
here.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, get your fucking tax credits back.
Right. So these kids have a party. They have parties all the time, and one of the things, it's never really like explained. It's just there that
Really?
everyone's partying, and there's this thing where
like a hand
it's a
that's like
porcelain
this.
hand.
Is it porcelain?
Yeah, it's a porcelain hand, and if you grab onto it and say "talk to me," you will see a spirit from the other side, And then you have to say, part of the game is you have to say, I let you in. Now you're strapped to a chair with a belt, and a candle is lit, and there's a 90-second, like they figured it out.
Yeah,
None of
okay.
it, you don't go into too much detail as to how this is figured
That's
out.
crazy that they didn't
Yeah,
explain that.
It's kind of like, here you go. And in those 90 seconds, that spirit, whichever one you see, possesses you. And after the 90 seconds, when the hand is removed, you know, they pull the hand away from you and they blow out the candle, you come back, and it's like you've experienced a high. So these bored Australian teens, that's how they get high.
Jesus.
Right? It's got so many elements. It deals with amazing in the way that I make sense that A24 purchased the film because of the themes that it's dealing with, you know, addiction, boredom, grief. So many things come into play in the film. The cast is spectacular.
script for
Chef's
this?
kiss. They did the Raka Raka, Danny and Michael Philippou. Yeah, and
Sorry.
see, when you look over my shoulder during a Halloween episode, kind of looking afraid, it's not really fun for me.
Children were looking into the studio.
Oh, okay,
Really weird.
Yeah, are they real? Were they actually there? But yeah,
Oh, what?
that's it. That's the last.
This is not a movie thing. This is just random. Did you ever do Ouija boards and shit?
No. So here's the thing.
Never.
I am a ridiculous person in that I am very pragmatic, yet
But
I am
hold
a
on.
little stitious.
You a little stitch?
Yeah, I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious.
Just slightly stitches.
Yes.
Really?
Semi-stitious.
You think you're semi-stitious?
Okay, I'm pretty superstitious.
Oh, I just want to pull something up for you because I want to use it as a reference.
If you start reading Latin right now, I'm getting up and I'm leaving. You know that.
Relax.
No, I'm gonna get up and
Relax,
leave.
relax.
See, there you go. Stitches.
There we go. Plene presidium,
Yeah, there you go.
repellem omni malus spiritus. He's terrified of Latin spoken out loud. And the logic behind why, he explained this to me once, because I had it written into a script. And he's like, you know what, bro? I don't speak Latin. I don't know. What if? Even like church Latin, like you're in a Catholic church and you're
They know what they're saying.
Do
right?
they?
Yeah, they do. To some extent, they should. And the thing is,
telling me that
funny thing is, I
Father,
understand Latin.
Zubolak
Yeah.
speaks Latin?
Well, he's just what's the word I'm saying?
Well, I understand Latin
He's,
too for the most part.
Yeah.
Elementum recoglio, fuis commando locus.
Stop.
Mihi vestim vox.
Stop. You
Demonium.
rectus dominus.
That's so good. Dominus rectus.
So
Yeah, Peter's afraid of Latin, and the whole setup was for that. But you never did Ouija boarding stuff as a kid? You were always
no, I
like-
did. No, obviously I did.
We once had a power failure during a Ouija board session
that's
at a house party.
That's awful.
One of the guys there, the lights came back and he's like, I have to leave. And we're like, why? He's like, I just have to leave. And I took him aside. I'm like, are you okay? Like, what's
Just
going on?
himself.
He's like, I shit. I'm like, me too, bro. He's like, no, I shit my pants. I go, yeah, bro, me too. He's like, no, I have shit in my pants. I'm like, bro, go home.
Oh,
like,
wow.
he got so scared he shit himself.
I
almost shit myself. I got pretty scared.
The closest thing that happened, and we don't have an explanation. We were watching. It was me and my brother and a friend, 20 years ago or more than that. We're watching Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It's the last Freddy Krueger film, and there's a scene where he literally kind of comes out of a closet.
Yeah.
And as that happened, this was an old rear projector TV.
Oh, man.
And here's the funny thing is, sometimes you would, if you were sitting on the couch in a weird way and the remote kind of folded and hit that button, it would just go into static. Except the remote was on the table, and as soon as that happened, the volume was really up because we were watching in the basement, and the static was very loud. And we're watching in the dark. I remember it. I still have, I just brought it up, and I'm like, oh my god, my heart rate went up.
I
It was
remember
terrifying.
being about 9 years old. My parents were in the backyard. They were having a party, and I had lost interest, so I went in, and I don't know what year is this? 1995. So Poltergeist is on television.
Nice.
And I've never seen it. So I'm like, fucking movie starting. I'm going to watch it.
That was a mistake.
So I watch it, and it scares the fucking life out of me. And I fell asleep at some point, which I don't know how the fuck I fell asleep after Poltergeist, whatever. And they're still outside. So my dad at some point comes in and sees that I'm asleep. And there used to be remember my living room in my parents' house? There's a switch on the wall, but it's not a light switch. It's the breaker. Do you
I
remember
don't remember
Anyways,
this, but yeah.
So he accidentally flips it. I guess he was looking for something, and he turns it back on and walks away. But when he walked away, the TV turned back on and went to static because the box never turned back on.
Oh my god.
So I'm asleep and I hear, I'm like, don't open your eyes. Just don't. And I remember the visceral fear, just running through my body. And I opened my eyes and I was like, no. And I just ran out of the room. And I also experienced a similar feeling after the first time I watched Ringu. Not the Ring,
Oh, yeah,
Japanese Ringu.
Japanese Ringu, yeah.
And I was like, You know what I just thought of that I haven't thought of in years? Fucking, what is it called? Oh, a hit. Battle Royale.
Battle
What a
Royale.
great fucking Battle Royale.
Yeah.
That's gore. That's torture porn.
Well, that's a gore fest. It's more in line with Japanese. So Japanese horror is another subgenre that we barely talked about. You just brought up Ringu. There was a whole period where, like, what was it? It was Ringu, which spawned The Ring, and all these remakes. Ju-on upsets me.
Came out recently where it's the characters from the first Ring, but it's in the same universe. I watched
I think you mean The Grudge.
The Grudge.
Yeah, that's Ju-on. That's what I was getting.
Ju-on. Yeah, okay.
So
I
this-
watched the first 20 minutes of that, and I checked them. I'm like, nope.
All right, check this out. Check this out. You're gonna laugh at this because if I pick up the original Ju-on, now I don't want to butcher the guy's name. That's why I'm googling it. So his name is Takashi Shimizu. Okay. Now, if you look at this guy's filmography,
Just try to scare me from it.
if you look at this guy's filmography, you son of a b. All right, I'm gonna show you something that's gonna. I don't know if you're gonna get as upset as I am, but okay.
I mean, okay.
So watch. Okay.
They can't see, so they're just doing our own thing now. With
In 2000, he does Ju-on.
Okay.
Okay.
Scary, fucking scary. Too scary for me to finish.
2000, he also does Ju-on 2. These are short. You see an hour 10, an hour 16 minutes, right? They were like, it basically made the same-ish movie.
Yeah, okay.
Then he gets money and makes Ju-on again in an hour and 32 minutes in 2002.
Why does he make it again?
Money, okay?
Okay.
Then he makes a sequel again. Then they bring him over to the States and he makes
The Grudge, yeah.
Then he makes The Grudge. Like, the guys made the same movie like eight times. You know
what Ju-on's poster always reminded me of?
but this is bananas, right? Like,
It is.
like okay.
It always reminded me of the scene from Scary Movie. I forget which one. Where
they parody it.
The kids in the stairs?
Yeah, where they parody.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Did Scary Movie come after Ju-on? Yeah, it did.
Well, one of them came on.
Yokohama.
Yeah.
Kawasaki.
Yeah, he's just saying random Yamaha, Kawasaki. Yeah, it's a
Man.
Scary Movies. You know that Scary Movie was the original title for Scream?
Yes, I did know that, yeah. Scream 1, first Scream, original Scream, masterpiece.
Dude.
Every subsequent Scream didn't do it for
Fucking
me.
nonsense. I'll tell you what happened. Okay. Scream.
love
Watch. Scream 2. All right, fine. Scream 3. No. Scream 4, I actually really enjoyed. I found bringing the different characters in and kind of new set of characters, but I find it more believable. They brought it back to high school, dealt with the kind of meta aspect of being a sequel. And then that's it. The series died. Okay. And then Wes Craven died. So I was like, all right, Rob and I were going to see Scream.
We're done,
again.
yeah.
Then you had the Scream TV series, which was produced by MTV. It's weirdly watchable, but like you're like angry as you're watching it. You're like, what is
Teen Wolf watchable?
No, this is worse.
Teen Wolf was solid.
Yeah,
all the way through.
This is worse than Teen Wolf. You're just sitting there being like, what is happening? And then by the reveals, you're just sitting there like,
I think you
upset.
told me about this.
Yeah. Anyways, and then
I'm the Hardy Boys now.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll get into this in a minute because
we can't because the episode's over.
Oh no, fully over.
Nah, you can finish.
Okay, last thing. Okay, so this group of filmmakers called Radio Silence made Scream 5. They were given permission and taking over from Wes Craven. And listen, that movie had no business being as good as it was. Enough that they merited a sequel, Scream 6, where it changes the setting away from Woodsboro into New York.
Right.
Dude, awesome movie. And I got really lucky because I got to see that with, I'm going to give a last shout out here. I got to see that here in Montreal with Max Laferrière. Max Laferrière is an actor and stunt performer
I
here
remember Max.
in Montreal.
Yeah.
And he is Ghostface in this film. He is fucking awesome. Go support Max Laferrière. Super solid guy. And go check out Scream 6 because it's a blasty.
Okay, so we're going to call it mostly because I have to be on set. Humble brag. So I'm just going to end with this great quote since the Halloween episode.
Hit me.
Exorcizames te omnis immundus, spiritus omnis satanica potestas, omnis incursio, infernalis, adversario, omnis legio, omnis congregatio, es secta diabolica, ergo omnis legio. Guys, he's out the door. My name is Phil Balbanos. This used to be Peter James. He's gone. All right, guys. We'll see you next episode. Happy Halloween.